York, a summer night turned deadly when 17-year-old Alvin Foy unleashed chaos. On July 25, 2020, Foy and Jameer Manning fired 31 shots into a crowd on Essex Street over a petty dispute. A stray bullet struck 18-year-old China Forney, a high school senior, in the back, killing her as she fell in a friend's arms.
Prosecutors presented surveillance and ballistics, proving Foy fired the fatal shot. His not guilty plea crumbled as China's family spoke of their loss. Foy flashed smiles, then laughed outright, enraging the gallery.
Foy, on May 3rd, 2021, you are a co-defendant.
Excuse me a second. Let the record reflect that the defendant is laughing during the victim impact statement.
Catch the full episode on the link above. Subscribe to its Southern Sin today for more exclusive crime episodes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Calling case numbers 2500385101FC and 2500385701FC. In the matter of the people of the state of Michigan versus Mr. Desmond Burks. Today is the day for two sentencings. Appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Lisa Lindsay on behalf of the people of the state of Michigan, P number 39570.
Good morning, Your Honor. Mike Glenn for the people. My P number is 77516.
And good morning, Your Honor. Gabby Silver appearing on behalf of Desmond Burks.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sarah Kraus, P81830, also appearing on behalf of Desmond Burks. Mr. Burks, can you state your name, please?
Desmond Burks.
All right, good morning. Good morning, everyone. With regards to PSIR, we are here for sentencing. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to the, I think there is one thing that we need to place on the record with regards to, it's more minor, but why don't we do that first? We had a sidebar discussion. Go ahead, Mr. Glenn or Ms. Lindsay.
Yes, Judge. We were reviewing the plea forms that were negotiated in this particular case, and we found an error for the first degree murder case that was pled down to second degree murder. Counts 3 through 5 had the notation that it would have been a mandatory life habitual fourth violent offender, so mandatory 25. And that should count for the murder count, but it was our understanding and belief that counts 3 through 5, it was just the habitual, which doesn't carry the statutory mandatory 25-year minimum sentence. So we'd like to make that correction for the record, and I think we have an agreement with the defense.
You agree?
Yes, Judge, that is correct. That is what was anticipated at the time of the plea. So we would join in that correction, request for a correction.
Okay, thank you. Anything with regards to the body of the report, and obviously that specific issue is beneficial to the defense. Anything on behalf of the prosecution with regards to the specific body of the report?
Yes, Your Honor. There were statements made in the report, specifically the statement made from the defendant, Mr. Burks, where he indicated that he did not have a relationship with the victim in this case. I would specifically like to correct that by referencing a statement he made to the Detroit Police Department, Sergeant Javaris Reed, back in April upon his arrest, where he did in fact admit to having a relationship with the victim. We will go to, I'm referencing the first statement, roughly at 26 minutes into the statement. He indicated that he had a relationship with him, that they would have sex.
Okay, one second. We're gonna everyone take a deep breath. We're not gonna have a situation where anybody's interrupting anyone. Okay, everybody is gonna have a chance. Mr. Burks, everybody's gonna have a chance to speak. Ms. Silver, I'm just gonna indicate everybody's gonna have a chance to speak.
Understood, Judge.
And I am going to indicate that there's going to be no interruptions. The court has wide discretion as to how to handle a sentencing, and we're not.
Understood, Judge. I guess the issue that we have on this side is I just don't know what the reasoning for placing this on the record is. This was a guilty plea. He took responsibility for what he did, and I don't know what any of this has to do with the sentencing of Mr. Burks.
Okay, I understand, but there'll be no interruptions in any way from anyone. And Ms. Lindsay, if you can just give a brief indication of why you're asking to do that, and obviously if there's a dispute as to this or anything of that sort, the defense will have every opportunity to respond. Okay?
Yes, Judge. Thank you.
Your Honor, specifically in the investigator's report. Your Honor, in the pre-sentence report, the defendant had an opportunity to speak with the author of the report. And in the report, the defendant indicates that he did not have a relationship with the victim in this case. That is inaccurate information. The pre-sentence report goes to the Michigan Department of Corrections, and it's supposed to contain accurate information. The reason why this is being put into the record at this point, and believe me, Your Honor, we have video of this, but in lieu of taking up a lot of time and in lieu of raising the temperature in the room, we have opted to put this information in the record in the least inflammatory method as possible. That is why I am referencing specific time frames in the statement, which we will want attached to the pre-sentence report to go to the Michigan Department of Corrections so they can have an accurate assessment of what happened. We have that right to have accurate information in the pre-sentence report. And although the defendant did in fact plead guilty, he cannot deny the underlying facts.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes. So as it relates to the statement he gave to the Detroit Police Department in April to Sergeant Javaris Reed at approximately 26 minutes into this statement, he indicated that he was having a sexual relationship with the victim. He indicated that he felt funny talking about it because he did not want his family and friends to know about it. Further on in that same statement, at 2 hours and 37 minutes, he indicated that he was really like, that the victim was really like his boyfriend on the side. And as it relates to approximately at 3 hours and 18 minutes into the statement, he said, okay, like I was his little boyfriend. No, seriously, I believe that he goes on to say that he began to start developing feelings for the victim. He felt uncomfortable that he had started developing feelings for the victim. He asked the victim, could he move in with him? And the victim basically told him no. That's in the statement he gave. And that Mr. Glenn will follow that up with text messages. So that is the first correction that we want to make in the pre-sentence report, that he did in fact had a relationship with the victim. From his own words, he indicated that he was his boyfriend, and at one point he referenced being a boy toy.
Okay.
The other correction I'd like to make in the pre-sentence report relates to gang affiliation. And the reason why this is important is the Michigan Department of Corrections needs to know, for purposes of housing somebody, if there are any type of gang affiliations. During the course of the investigation, several witnesses testified that Mr. Burks indicated to him that he was a member of the Crips. This was followed up and verified by images in the defendant's phone extraction, the second phone that was taken to him after he was arrested on the manslaughter case. There are 2 photographs of him along with several other people dressed in blue, throwing up the Crip gang signs, and that photograph was sent to Gang Intel, and they did verify that they were in fact Crip gang signs, and also they use an emoji, which is to telegraph to people that they're Crips, to fly under the radar, which is the emoji of a handicapped person, the handicapped person in the chair, which is in blue and white. Blue is the color of the Crips. So therefore, there is credible evidence, both from witness testimony and from the defendant's own phone, that he is affiliated with the Crips. And those are the 2 main corrections I want to make in the pre-sentence report, as far as information is concerned.
Ms. Silver, you object to that, correct?
Yeah, I do object to it. And we continue to deny.
I'm going to let you make a record as well, but I'm going to, obviously, this will only be noted as this is what the prosecution's statements are, and that will be
Absolutely,
admitted.
Judge. Thank
And
you.
you understand that I'm going to admit it with that understanding, correct?
Yes, but I still do want to place an objection on the record and our position. So Mr. Burks continues to deny any gang affiliation. That's number 1. Number 2, just because you are wearing blue and you throw up a gang sign, there's been no credible evidence to prove that Mr. Burks is a gang member. And number 3, it's got absolutely no relevance to this case. This isn't a gang type case. So I really don't, once again, understand the purpose of smearing the record with that. As it relates to the information that Mr. Burks is alleged to have given to the police regarding a relationship, I guess we all have different definitions of what a relationship is. And I think that's the issue that Mr. Burks takes with that. So for those reasons, Judge, we object. And again, it's got no relevance to a sentencing where there is a sentence agreement and Mr. Burks has accepted responsibility through a guilty plea for his actions.
Okay, the Michigan Department of Corrections, with the understanding of each side's position, will be advised of this, and that information will, and that statement that Ms. Silver made as well. All of this will be on the record for the Michigan Department of Corrections to always consider. Okay?
Thank you, Judge.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Judge. Just a few more additions. Ms. Lindsay mentioned the statements made by the defendant to the Detroit Police Department. Over the course of this very lengthy investigation, 2 relevant cell phones were recovered that were attributed to Mr. Burks that indicated that there were 3,925 contacts between Mr. Burks from November 1st of 2022 to the doctor and back and forth until the date of his demise on the 22nd of April of 2023. A lot of these text messages were sexual in nature. There were videos and pictures sent to each other referring to their sexual relationship. There was some soliciting back and forth between the 2. Some of those photographs were going to be admitted at trial. To further some of the statements that Mr. Burks made and to kind of add some weight to them, there was also geotags, so unique identifiers in the metadata, so data within data, that indicated that these photographs were actually taken at the doctor's home when the doctor was performing sexual acts on the defendant. And it also indicated that there may have been more than one individual that had been involved. And these are also photographs that were intended to be admitted at trial that also were identified as being the defendant. Now, we also, in the body of the pre-sentence report, notate that there was 1 or 2 pages of what the investigator's report or what the investigation indicated. We think that that's factually lacking. So we would ask the court to incorporate the investigator's report, which is about 181 pages long. It's in its redacted form as provided to the defense upon agreement of the parties. We'd like that added so that an accurate representation of the evidence that people had against the defendant and the substantial amount of work that the Detroit Police Department did in closing this particular case, we'd like that added to the pre-sentence investigation report as well.
Okay. Anything, Ms. Silver?
No, Judge, I mean, I suppose it's within the right to send their version of events to the Michigan Department of Corrections. As long as it's labeled as such, I don't have any objection to
Okay,
that.
thank you. And that is standard procedure?
Yes.
All right. Thank you. Any other corrections to the body of the report on behalf of the prosecution?
None, Judge.
Any corrections to the body of the report from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, with regards to the guidelines, in this case, both parties agree that the guidelines are scored correctly,
Yes.
and those guidelines as scored are 58 to 228 on the manslaughter case 25-003851 and 25-003857. The guidelines are 315 to 1,050. Do both parties agree with that?
Just one moment, Your Honor.
Well, we agree with it. We have computed the guidelines and came out with exactly these same scorings.
Yeah, Judge, we have no corrections to
Okay, thank you. All right, anything on behalf of the people?
Your Honor, in regards to the first-degree murder case, we do have members of the family that would like to address the court.
They can come up to the podium and you can have them, they can come one at a time, okay?
Thank you, Judge. The podium, Judge.
Yes. Good morning.
Good
Thank you
morning.
for being here. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Lila Graber.
Okay. And if you can just indicate your relationship with the victim in this case, Mr. Hoover.
I'm his sister.
Thank you for being here today. This is your opportunity to make a statement to the court. Go ahead.
I want to thank the court for this opportunity to briefly describe some of the impact Mr. Burks' actions have had on me and my family. The year of 2023 was going to be difficult for our family. We knew that. We just didn't know how difficult. In January, doctors said there was nothing more to be done for my mom's cancer. We expected that it would be only a few months before she passed away. As April approached, we felt that the end of her life would likely be within a few weeks. In early April, I had one of my last phone conversations with Devon, my only brother. His schedule of visiting our mom had not meshed with mine, and he wanted to know if I'd be there for Easter. I considered it, but due to responsibilities at home, I thought I couldn't. And though no one is promised tomorrow, I reasoned that we would be together later in the month, around Mom's bedside, and then again at her funeral. I was expecting that through that time of sorrow, Devon would be there along with each of my 5 sisters. It would be such a comfort to be together while we said our earthly goodbyes. That was not to be. Before we got to that day, the shock and horror of Devon's death turned everything upside down. 4 days after the awful realization of his murder, our mother passed away. Devon was gone. The family was miles apart. Some of us were in Detroit navigating the difficulty of planning a funeral without the advantages of hometown connections, while the rest were going through the motions of tasks needing to be done in Indiana. All of us were distracted by our grief over the loss of Devon and the many questions swirling around in our minds. The weight of Devon's death and the surrounding circumstances seemed to crowd out any normal feelings of grief one might have at the loss of a loving, attentive mother. That brought some feelings of guilt, and still does to this day, It was as if I could not do what I wanted to do for her and what I felt she deserved. Tears, sleepless nights, confusion, and questions were the new reality in the early days after Devon's death. Difficulty concentrating on certain things was a problem for a long time. I could not concentrate well enough to really enjoy reading any book except the Bible until just recently. It's not hard to put those kind of things into words, but how does one adequately describe the ongoing loss of Devon, his life, his person, everything he brought to us and to the family? I've decided not to go into detail, but what was, the relationship we had was snuffed out in an instant at the hands of Mr. Burks. Besides that, dreams for our future were gone. I had thought about what life might look like as we grew older. I hoped for a time when work would slow down, family responsibilities would be less, and we might have more time to spend together. That will never happen. Devon's death has affected every member of our large family, each one in slightly different ways. One of the heaviest burdens is knowing the devastating blow it was to our 85-year-old father to lose his only son in such a violent, senseless way. None of us can really know the suffering that he endured. I do want to say that in spite of a measure of sorrow and disappointment that I will carry with me for the rest of my life, I'm okay. I'm surviving, even thriving. I believe I can say this for the rest of the family as well. This is possible because of the love of our Lord Jesus Christ, who is with us every step of this difficult journey. I read something from the Bible the other day that perfectly describes it for me. Psalm 31, verses 7 and 8. I am overcome with joy because of your unfailing love, for you have seen my troubles and you care about the anguish of my soul. You have not handed me over to my enemy, but have set me in a safe place. This is the reality that nothing can take away. And now I have a few words for Mr. Burks. Your actions have grieved not only our family, but many others as well. In these last few months in particular, my heart has gone out to your mother. I'm a mother. I have sons. If I'm correct, you'll be 36 years old this year. I have a 36-year-old son. I know what it's like to hold a newborn son in your arms and envision all the possibilities for a life well lived. Mr. Burks, I believe I can safely say that you have shattered your mother's heart. The life you could have had is gone. You will spend most, if not all, of the rest of your life behind bars. This, I believe, is a fitting consequence for the crime you have committed against not only Devon, but against me, our family, the Saleh family, and the many friends affected. By the grace of God, we have no hatred or animosity toward you. I asked my dad, Devon's dad, if he had anything to say. His words were, in prison he will have time to think. My prayer is that he will repent. We can forgive. That is my prayer too, Mr. Burks, that you will find true freedom, freedom from something far worse than prison walls, freedom from the evil that has you firmly in its grip, freedom of the heart and soul, freedom to love instead of hate. This freedom is the gift of God, available to all without discrimination, described within the pages of the Bible. If the Son, meaning Jesus Christ, sets you free, you will be free indeed. John 8:36. That's all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you very much for your statement. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Can you state your name for the record?
Gerald Martin.
Okay. And what relationship did you have with Devon Hoover?
My wife, Andrea, is Devon's sister.
Okay.
So I'm here to make a statement on her behalf.
All right. I want to thank you for being here, and you can go ahead and make the statement.
Thank you. My name is Gerald Martin. I will be reading a statement for my wife, Andrea Martin, sister of Devon Hoover. Today, I want to take a little time to talk about my brother, Devon, and how much I miss him. Devon was a great family member, someone I was always glad to see. Our family wasn't extremely affectionate, but Devon would walk up and give me a hug. He was engaging and fun to talk to. He didn't talk about himself a lot, but he was interested in all of us and would ask questions about our lives. He had a good sense of humor, and conversations were punctuated by laughter, as he would tell funny stories from his life or from the latest book he was reading. He was brilliant, and we were proud of him and his accomplishments. He would join enthusiastically in any activity our family was doing, whether it was eating a slice of homemade pie, playing Monopoly, or frisbee football, building sandcastles on the beach, or singing hymns. Devon was a hard worker and would jump in to help with whatever needed to be done. During hard times, he called to see how he could help or offer his expertise as a doctor. He really cared, and he was so kind. He was an amazing friend to many. It's hard to put into words what he meant to our family or the sense of loss we feel now that he's gone. Our family will never be the same. We have experienced the shock of his death. We've cried many, many tears. We were thrown into planning 2 funerals at once since her mother died 4 days after Devon. I've gone through more stress and exhaustion than ever before. Grief pops up in so many ways, often unexpectedly and at inopportune times. We had to leave our children behind as we made numerous trips to Detroit to take care of Devon's estate. Personally, I have a lot of anxiety. There's an ache in my heart as I remember Devon and think about what could have been. In spite of all this, I know I'm going to be okay. Jesus is with me, and he's promised to never, ever leave me. I know his promises are true. He brings me peace as I wrestle with my fears. Just as Devon beautifully restored his home room by room, Jesus is restoring my soul. I am a work in progress, and Jesus has promised to complete his work in me. Desmond, I forgive you. I will not hold bitterness and hatred in my heart toward you for the evil you have done. My wish for you is that you can know Jesus. He says in the Bible that anyone that commits sin is a slave to sin, and this includes all of us because we have all sinned. Please turn away from your sin and come to Jesus. He can make you into a new person. He can give you a new heart with new desires, and you can be free on the inside, even though you are in prison.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good morning.
Hi.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Beth Leitner.
Okay. And what relationship do you have to
Devon is
Devon?
my brother.
Okay.
April 23, 2023 is a day forever seared in my mind. It was a Sunday, and it was an unusual day in that I did not attend church, but instead went to be with my mother, who was dying from cancer. My sisters and I were together, caring for our mom, and were prepared for our brother Devon to join us for lunch, as he had on many Sundays for the past several months. As the morning progressed, we occasionally mentioned that we were surprised Devon wasn't home yet. We had all called or messaged him, and he hadn't answered us. As unusual as that was, we knew he was very busy, and we thought of different scenarios that might be preventing him from answering us. We knew he would let us know as soon as possible as to why he was late. As the day wore on, we decided to go ahead and eat lunch without him. I was distracted about caring for my mom, but an unsettled knot began forming in the pit of my stomach. I kept pushing away the worrisome thoughts, unable to even begin thinking of anything else except at any moment Devon's car was going to pull in the driveway and he would explain all that had kept him for so long. And we would all laugh about how worried we had been. By mid-afternoon, we were all extremely concerned. We tried calling the hospital. They told us he was probably on call. We left him more messages through his answering service for the hospital. And finally, we knew we must call the police. They said they would conduct a welfare check. And it wasn't long until they called us back with the information that they found his car and there was blood in it. This was the beginning of the utter devastation of my heart and soul. We began praying and calling our churches and friends and family to pray for our brother. We still had hope that he was alive. It was very late. I went home with my husband. We couldn't sleep. We sat on the couch in silence, just praying for a miracle. And then the call came. He was gone, murdered. My only brother, my childhood companion, the one I had played with every day, biking, riding horses, wading in the creek, making forts. We worked together, feeding calves and cows and milking and baling hay. We had pet raccoons together. We went to school together and to church together. Hearing that he was murdered felt like a bomb went off in my heart, the pieces scattered everywhere. The next several days and even weeks are a blur of painful survival. I did what needed to be done, going through the motions of living, but feeling so broken inside. My mom had died the Thursday following Devon's death. I felt unable to grieve for her. Every thought, every emotion of grief was already spent on my brother. Visitation, funeral, burial for Devon, and then visitation, funeral, burial for my mom. So many tears. There was comfort and love from many, many people, which helped tremendously. The whole community shared our sorrow and surrounded our family with love, care, support, and prayers. Throughout the weeks that followed, I struggled to know where to begin putting my life back together. How do I get through the day? The physical pain was real and deep. As more and more came out about the murder, the pain increased, things that my whole body, soul, and spirit longed to reject. My faith was challenged in ways it had never been challenged before. I had so many questions, and there were no answers. All this wrapped up with the hourly grief and pain for Devon. Now it has been nearly 3 years, and God has been faithful to me. He's still here holding my questions. He has given comfort, he has revealed truth, and he has given grace that brought me to a place of acceptance and forgiveness. While I abhor the evil of taking another person's life, I forgive Desmond Burks, and I pray for him to find forgiveness and help from a real and loving God who will never cast away anyone who comes to him. Today and for the rest of my life, I carry the grief of all that transpired around my brother's murder. I always imagined connecting with him more, spending more time in our senior years once my children were raised. At home, I sit beside remnants of his life. There's a little table here and an antique bowl there. His white lab coat hangs in my closet next to my dresses. While these are cherished, they are also empty and lonely reminders of his past. I miss his grand house, his many hand-picked antiques, how he styled them and displayed them. I miss his knowledge of the medical field and all the help he gave me over the years. I miss his smile, the light in his eyes, his practical, no-nonsense advice. I miss his determined and confident stride. I miss his entertaining stories and sense of humor. I miss his love and kindness, but most of all, I just miss him, who he was as a real human being, so unique and so irreplaceable. This is the lasting impact that I will always miss him, and I will always carry the sorrow of losing him for the rest of my life.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Morning.
Can you state your name, please?
Lori Hoover.
And how are you related to Devon?
He is my brother.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Unimaginable evil came to the kitchen table of my parents' home on April 23rd, 2023, where our family was gathered, and we all heard the voice on the phone saying we found his car with blood in it. In the next room, our mother lay unresponsive, dying from cancer. It was a dark night that culminated with some of the darkest news possible. Our brother was dead, murdered. We were prepared to grieve for our mother, but not for our brother. Devon was a central figure in our family, right in the middle of the siblings, with 3 older sisters and 3 younger. He was strong, capable, driven, and exceptionally intelligent. He loved his family, and we knew it. Now there is a Devon-sized hole in the middle of our family, and our hearts are forever changed by grief. Devon accomplished much in 53 years, and he would have done so much more. He wanted to take each of his sisters and their spouses on a trip to Europe. He was planning for an English garden in his backyard, learning French, in addition to being an excellent neurosurgeon in the prime of his career, known for his skill and compassion. One man, Desmond Burks, is responsible for our grief, our loss, and all that will never be. How shall we go on without our brother? We don't really know. But we do know a God who said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." We have found rest in the one who carries our grief and sorrow. We go on with forgiveness. Desmond, I do forgive you because I have also been forgiven of much. Jesus is a light that shines in the darkness, and the darkness cannot overcome it. I pray that you will turn to him and find rest for your soul. And we go on with hope, believing one day all shall be well. On that day, God himself will wipe away all tears from our eyes, and there will be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying. Neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things will be passed away. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you say your name, please?
My name is Linda Hirschberger.
Okay. And what relationship did you have with Devon?
Devon is my brother.
Okay. Thank you for being here. Go ahead.
My sister said a lot of what I was going to say. So if it's appropriate, if I could talk to Mr. Burks.
You can direct your comments to me, but obviously you can say what you want, okay?
Okay. So I just wanted to say, Mr. Burks, that like my sister said, in April of 23, it was like this bomb went off in our lives. And it was just this, like they said, a giant Devon-sized hole that will never be filled. And in the 3 years following, we had these ripple out effects. And like my sister stated, there's so many things that are we just miss, and it's the biggest loss is Devon. But I think that like some of the ripples that are the hardest are the fact that it happened right in the most painful time of our lives. And I don't know if you know that, but like that's been the thing that's been hardest for me to forgive you for, is that when we could have used Devon the most, he was the strength of our family, and he was the one who would have known how to help our mom get from living to passing and how to take care of her pain. And we needed him so desperately in that moment, and he wasn't there. And he and my mom were the strength in our family, and to lose both of them in 1 week was just astronomical. And I just that piece there has been the hardest for me to really let go of. And I just wanted to say to you, Mr. Burks, that when I sat in the courtroom earlier and I saw your mother's tears, something shifted in my heart. And I just know we're in the middle of a very broken story. And I acknowledge that I have no idea what happened in your life prior to this point. And so all the giant things that I'm losing of my brother, all the ways that I miss him, all the desires that I wish, my sister stated everything I was going to say about what we were hoping for. All that loss, I think just if you could, speak to us in the Sela family, some sort of acknowledgement that you understand our losses. Like, I think one of the hardest things is that you act like their lives didn't matter, that somehow they were expendable. And so I stand in this place where there's a loss of Devon and there's a loss of Mr. Sela, and you're acting like it was nothing. And I think that for both of our families, if you could just acknowledge the great loss, that would be so helpful to us. And I think too that my heart really grieves for you because I see your life as a loss too. I wouldn't want for you the rest of your life in prison. I'm sure that you have giftings that were never experienced because of what life handed you. And I'm sorry that your life is going to be stuck in jail the rest of your life too. It doesn't bring me any great joy. It's just a lot of pain all in one pile. And so, yeah, I just want to say too that I don't hate you, and I'm choosing to keep forgiving you. And I would ask if at some point you could say to our family and the Sela family that you understand how great our loss is. That would be really meaningful to us.
Thank you. To anticipate.
I believe it's just one.
Okay.
Your Honor, the victim's family has brought a Bible they would like Mr. Burks to have, so I'm going to Ms. Silver.
Okay.
And so she can have the deputies. Yes, thank you.
This was brought in that you can give it to the deputies as well, and then Mr. Burks can have that. Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you please state your name?
Angie Solmas.
And what relationship did you have with Mr. Saleh?
He was my stepdad.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Reda Saleh was my stepfather, but to me and to so many others, he was much more than that. He was family, he was safety, he was kindness, and he was love in human form. On the night of April 17th, 2023, Reda called my mom, his wife, to tell her he was on his way home from work. That call was normal. It was routine. It was the kind of call that represents stability and love, the kind that says, I'm coming home. But he never made it home. As the hours passed, fear started to set in because that was not like him. Reda was dependable. Reda was responsible. Reda was the kind of man who showed up, always. My mom called all of us in a panic because deep down she knew something was wrong. Hearing that fear in her voice is something I will never forget. We called the hospital after hospital, hoping someone had seen him, hoping someone could tell us that he was okay. Eventually, we found out that he was at Sinai Grace Hospital. No one called us, no one notified us, even though he had his ID on him. While we were desperately searching for him, he was laying there alone, fighting for his life. When we got there and learned that he was on his deathbed from a brain bleed caused by an assault during a road rage incident, our world stopped. The shock, the disbelief, the heartbreak. There are no words strong enough to describe that moment. Reda was one of the gentlest, most genuine men you could ever meet. He would never hurt anyone. He was 68 years old and still worked every single day, not because he had to, but because providing for his family was who he was. That was his purpose. That was his pride. He was a father to 6 children, a grandfather to over 12, and a stepfather to 3. But more than titles, he was present. He loved deeply. He showed up. He listened. He helped. He protected. He was a loving husband to my mother, her partner, her strength, her comfort, and now that is gone. Reda was a God-fearing man who never missed a prayer in his life. His faith was not just something he said, it was something he lived. He treated people with patience, with respect, and with kindness. He believed in doing good, and even when the world wasn't good back. And on top of all of that, he was a caregiver for my mother, who is bedbound and on dialysis. And unfortunately, she's too sick to be here today. He took care of her every single day. He made sure she was safe, comfortable, and loved. He carried that responsibility with pride and love, never complaint, never hesitation. Because of Desmond's actions, our lives are shattered over something as small as meaningless as a fender bender. He took away a man who meant everything to us. He didn't just take one life, he damaged an entire family. He took away a husband, a father, a grandfather, a caregiver, a spiritual leader in our family, a man who held us together. There is an emptiness in our lives now that can never be filled. Holidays will never feel the same. Family gatherings will always have a missing chair. My mother lost the person who cared for her and loved her unconditionally. Our family lost our protector and our foundation. Reda deserved to come home that night. He deserved to grow old with his wife. He deserved to watch his grandchildren grow up. He deserved peace. He deserved safety. He deserved life. Instead, we are left with grief that will never fully go away. We will carry this loss for the rest of our lives, and we will carry his memory, kindness, and his love with us forever.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your statement. Okay, thank you. On behalf of Mr. Burks, Mr. Burks and Ms. Silver, you can come forward.
Yes, Judge.
And Ms. Krause as well. All right. Anything on behalf of your client, Ms. Silver or Ms. Krause?
Judge, I, on behalf of my client and Ms. Krause, sincerely apologize to both families for the loss they have suffered. I think I apologize for the circumstances that brought Mr. Burks here, the childhood that Mr. Burks led, and the circumstances that I think contributed to him being here before you today. I think Mr. Burks wishes to address the court as well.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Burks. Go ahead.
My name is Desmond Burks. I like to say I'm not a murderer, I'm not a killer. I'm a regular person like everybody in this room. I'm not gay as what the prosecutor wanted me to be. Not a gang member. I love sports. I'm a people person. I didn't intentionally meant to kill the guy about the road rage. It was a slap, not an assault. Sorry about what happened. Can't bring it back. About the doctor stuff, just because I took the plea, don't mean I did. I'm tired of them keep saying that I'm some gay killer or a gay person and a gang member in the same breath. That don't even mix. It's impossible. That's all I got really to say.
All right.
Nothing else.
All right. Thank you. With regards to on both cases, you may file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and sentence. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney, the court will appoint an attorney and furnish the attorney with the transcripts.
Just before you continue, can we approach briefly?
Yes, go ahead.
Stay right.
Just because of for today, we're going to go back. Why don't we? You know what? Jackson, can you approach? We're going to go off there. We'll be right back. Yeah, thank you. We're back on the record. Mr. Burks, all the attorneys are present. Mr. Burks is present. Mr. Burks made his statement. I've heard all the statements. Before I continue, I just want to indicate, Mr. Burks, you may file an application for leave to appeal your conviction and sentence if you cannot afford to hire an attorney. The court will appoint an attorney and furnish the attorney with the transcripts and file necessary for you to handle your appeal. Your request for an attorney must be made within 42 days. Now, this goes for both cases. You will have that application for leave to appeal your conviction. With regards to costs and fees that are associated with this case, $130 crime victims assessment on both cases. There will be $1,300 in court costs on both cases, $400 in attorney fees on both cases. There must be a $60 DNA fee. That will be on case 25-003851. $68 in state costs on both cases. With regards to docket 25-003851, you'll be given credit for 647 days served. In case 25-003857, you will be given credit for 562 days served. I will adopt the sentence agreements in this case. It will be the sentence of this court on count 2, second-degree murder, to adopt the sentence agreement. In that case, it would be 35 to 60 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. On counts 3, 4, and 5 per the agreement, it will be 6 to 10 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. With regards to 6 through 8, felony firearm second offense, it will be the sentence of this court to sentence you to 5 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. The second-degree murder count and counts 3, 4, and 5 will be concurrent with one another, and both will be consecutive with the felony firearm. On case 25-003857, it will be the sentence of this court. I'm sorry, that this will be 25-003851. It will be the sentence of this court to sentence Mr. Burks to 10 to 15 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections, concurrent with one another, with the other case of 25-003857. And is there any restitution? I can leave that to be determined.
Yes, Your Honor. I would ask that it be determined.
Okay. Okay. It will be left to be determined. I want to thank the Hoover family for being here today, and the Saleh family. To the Saleh family, I'm very sorry for your loss, and thank you for that profound statement that was made. And to the Hoover family, I want to thank everyone who spoke. My heart goes out and my condolences goes out to everybody involved, all the victims. And oftentimes in these cases, the one thing I don't want is for the victims, Mr. Saleh and Devon Hoover, ever to be forgotten. And based on those statements that were made today, those were some of the most profound, forgiving statements that this court has ever heard. And that it's a far cry from the dichotomy that we've seen on the other side, quite frankly, and the smirks and the rolling of the eyes and making this a circus. All I have to say is, quite frankly, you are a murderer, sir. You are a killer. You pled under oath to that, and that's your sentence. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
You are a murderer. You are a killer.
I guess you know what comes across my mind. Murder. Just murder, murder.
A lot of ladies think he's attractive.
Very nice, very well spoken.
This is what I do with women, you know? I use my charm, use my good looks. I'm like a lion. You're the prey, I can sense it.
I stand here today to announce the indictment of Wade Wilson for the murders of Christine Melton and Diane Ruiz.
Both of them had been strangled. The last person that they encountered was Mr. Wade Wilson.
He said he got back in the car and ran her over until she looked like spaghetti. I choked her out so she couldn't breathe anymore. I was on a rampage at this point.
He's still pulling the strings from a jail cell. He's got an army of wives. That's all he's ever wanted.
To advocate for someone because you think he's handsome.
A rage overcomes me. Just kill, kill, kill. When I get that way, I become the devil.
I'm gonna be honest with you, son. Everybody in the state thinks you're a monster.
True crime just got darker. Catch the full episode on the link above. Subscribe to At Southern Sin today and hit the notification bell for more live original episodes Wednesdays at 8 p.m.
"14-year-old freshman Colt Gray opened fire, killing 4 and injuring 9 others.
It was like 10 shots, about a 3-second or 4-second pause, and then like 7 more.
According to investigators, Gray carried an AR-15 style rifle onto a school bus that morning, the barrel sticking out of his backpack wrapped in poster board. 4 people would lose their lives that day: 14-year-old students Mason Schermerhorn and Christian Angelou, 53-year-old math teacher Christina Erimi, and 39-year-old football coach Richard "Ricky" Aspinwall. Colt Gray has been indicted on 55 felony counts, including 25 counts of aggravated assault. He is not the only one facing charges in this tragedy. Colt's father, Colin Gray, faces charges of second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. Prosecutors say Colin admitted to buying the rifle that his son used in the mass shooting and did so knowing that the teen was a danger to himself and others. Deputies interviewed the Grays about a year before the shooting, based on FBI tips about alleged threats posted on the online platform Discord.
I don't know anything about him saying like that, and I'm gonna be mad as hell if he did. And then all the guns will go away, and they won't be accessible.
His father, Colin, has been granted a change of venue in his case. If he's found guilty of murder, he could face up to 180 years in prison.
True crime just got darker. Catch the full episode on the link above. Subscribe to At Southern Sin today and hit the notification bell for more live original episodes Wednesdays at 8 p.m.